This brand new E-flite release is easy to fly, fast as hell, and really fun. But how does it stack up? Hey there, I'm John. This is Two Brothers RC, and this is the E-flite 80mm Habu XS. It's the first jet that Horizon has released in quite a while now, and it flies pretty good too. But let's avoid editorializing and give it a proper look through the no patent pending Two Brothers review system for 80mm EDF jets. So let's dive into it and see how it stacks up. The Habu XS is about as agile as you can expect any sport jet to be, within reason. It's capable of performing the standard sport jet fare, like knife edge passes, inverted passes, tumbles, inverted flat spins, spins that aren't quite flat but still spin, and really sick snap rolls. And it even does a little bit of inverted high alpha. The only area where I felt it was a little lacking was in knife edge authority, where it needed to be going faster than I'm used to in order to stay locked in without losing altitude. Otherwise, it tracked very well throughout all the maneuvers that I forced it to perform. Some of these maneuvers made me wonder if it was going to explode. But it shrugged off high G maneuvering without a care. So, how does it look on our review system? First, it wasn't prone to accelerated stalls. In fact, it wasn't prone to stalling at any airspeed or in any maneuvers. It just kinda noses down and noses up and back down again as it stalls. It's very, very easy to fly out of a stall. All you gotta do is move the left stick up, passing our first review criteria. I gotta hammer in on this jet's stall resistance a little bit more here. When I flew it with the center of gravity balanced over the main wheels, which is super easy because of the way the battery tray is set up, the jet was resistant to stalls with a less extreme center of gravity, but that's usually not the case this far aft. Yet, the minimum radius turn you're seeing here didn't cause it to stall out and crash. This thing is really well designed. You might have heard me mention that I was able to get it to balance over the main wheels. Well, that isn't hard to do at all. It's so easy to adjust the center of gravity that you can basically make it sit on its tail if you really want it to, passing our next checkpoint. And I can't stress how important this one actually is because I've flown jets where I've had to do tons of mods to get the CG to a neutral position, so this is very welcome. It definitely takes off and it lands without struggling. The landings are so ridiculously slow that I actually forgot that I could set up thrust reverse on this plane with the integrated Avian ESC. You really don't need thrust reverse at all. This is a stall jet, short takeoff and short landing. It's an absolute floater and a joy to land and take off with, passing this next checkpoint. And unlike other floaty planes, it does more than just fly slow. It's pretty fast, too. I don't put GPS devices into my airplanes anymore, but I'd be shocked if it wasn't hitting an average speed of about 120 miles an hour. It's quick and it really scoots around. There's a ton of thrust to weight on this jet and it definitely passes this next checkpoint. Stall recovery is super easy. Let off the stick and throttle up, or just throttle up. It doesn't take much. passing our final checkpoint for a grand total of 5 out of 5. This is a very friendly jet for people who are new to flying jets, or who perhaps might be prone to anxiety attacks while flying. It's definitely up there in ease of flight. You won't have any issues with this one. One thing that I've got to note before we move on to the flight time section is that this might be one of the slowest 80mm jets that I've personally flown. That isn't a bad thing at all. It can go fast if you want it to, but with flaps dropped, you can snail this thing around through the air if you manage your angle of attack well. The flaps are very effective at providing lift and keeping it from accelerating. If you like flying slow and you don't like jets that bite unexpectedly, this one might be up your alley. Moving on to flight time, the Habu XS is really efficient. I'm not sure why. Maybe it has something to do with it flying on an entirely new motor, which is the 3665-2170 kV Inrunner. I managed to average 5 minutes and beyond, with my best flight being 6 minutes and 30 seconds. The jet flew really well on Spectrum 5000 LiPos, but you could use any battery that you'd prefer in a similar size class and get similar results to what you see on screen. And this wasn't babying it either. I was getting 6 minutes with lots of high-speed passes. It's very efficient, passing with a 5 out of 5. Next up is the landing gear. This is where the Habu takes a hit. While it does have functional wheels, which passes here, they're pretty stiff compared to previous offerings from Horizon, passing and failing the first and second checkpoints so far. The wheels are attached to a pretty robust suspension system. I'm confident that it would handle taking off from grass, but only if the grass is kept short and maintained well. The gear seemed to require very little maintenance, and it did work flawlessly for me every single time, passing both of the 2 remaining checkpoints. Habu earns a 4 out of 5 in this category. As far as landing it is concerned, carry a little thrust on the back end of the stick, and you should have zero issues floating it in for a very, very slow landing. The rollout is incredibly low. Before we move on to the fit and finish and avionics sections, consider scrolling down a little and hit that like button, and if you're not already subscribed, definitely consider it. Onward to fit and finish, Habu does pretty well here too. The paint wasn't blotchy or damaged out of the box, and the foam looked great, passing our first 2 checkpoints. New E-flite releases have been uniformly pretty good, almost like balsa models with how smooth the finish is. It's a very nice change of pace from how their older aircraft used to look. All of the hinges are gapless, passing the next checkpoint with plastic hinged flaps that are almost slotted. At least they make a small slot anyhow. Habu uses black stickers on the belly, but otherwise the entire airframe looks like water slide decals or super thin plastic decals, passing our next section, and all of the decals stuck firmly to the jet regardless of how I flew it. Habu earns a 5 out of 5 here. Moving into our final section, avionics and lighting, Habu features fast metal servos that are precise enough to fly it well, and they didn't complain regardless of what I did to the plane in the air. 80mm jets tend to use 100 amp ESCs. This one actually featured a 130 amp ESC, which gives it a ton of headroom to stay cool. Mine never landed any warmer than 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 37.7 degrees Celsius. That's pretty cool, literally. It does contain lighting, though I gotta admit it's a little on the dim side. I think Horizon could get this improved in future releases. Similar 80mm jets from other companies have significantly brighter LEDs. I think we could see that happen with E-flite models too. However, the metric is contains lighting system and is the lighting correct, not is the lighting bright. And it does contain lighting and it does look correct, passing this checkpoint. You might be wondering why the scale combined 2 lighting metrics into one. That's because a recent, rather expensive jet that I picked up didn't come with servo pockets, and I realized that easily replaceable servos are pretty important, so I changed the metrics a little bit. Does the Habu come with easily replaced servos? Yep, it does. It uses servo doors which are easily unscrewed, so you can replace the existing servos with whatever you want to use instead. I don't see a point to replacing them because the stock servos are good enough for this jet, but if you really wanted to, or if perhaps a servo might have failed on you, you don't have to rip it out of the foam. That's great, and it passes here. The battery tray is very well designed, giving you the ability to place a battery very far aft, which can allow you to balance literally over the main wheels. And the battery hatch comes with plastic edging on both the fuselage and the canopy itself, passing again. I wish other jets that cost more than this one would have this feature. I don't think that any part of the airplane should be considered disposable when we're talking about many hundreds of dollars to buy, own, and operate these things. So little details like this are quite nice, and I think most people will agree and enjoy them too. So the Habu earns a 5 out of 5 in the avionics and lighting section. The Habu XS is definitely the product of a company that's been listening to feedback and making improvements, and that's reflected in the overall score here, which is 24 out of 25. It handles very well in the air, but keep in mind, it is a sport jet. Not everyone prefers to fly sport jets. I personally love them, and I was happy to get a chance to demo this for you guys today. I think it's a great addition to anyone's hangar who wants an easy-to-fly, very capable 80 that looks good and is built well. If you like this jet and what you've seen in the vid, drop down to the vid description below and use our Horizon affiliate link to pick it up for yourself. Pricing is unfortunately in flux right now due to reasons that I don't even want to touch with a 10-foot propeller on YouTube, but what I can say is that you might want to pick it up now during the pre-order phase because the current volatility in pricing might get worse before it gets better. And this jet definitely flies well enough to be something to consider getting, though, as always, I won't pressure you to do anything. It's my job to report the facts as I see them, and it's your job to figure out if it's worth it to you or not. Anyhow, thanks for watching, guys, and a huge thanks goes out to our channel members on twobrosrc.com/supporters. And a very special thanks goes out to our mega fans, Sarasota RC Squadron, Michael Smith, JR Man, and Todd, along with our Ultra fans, Seahawk92 and TBRC Fan. You guys kick so much ass. Liz and I really appreciate all of your support. Coming up soon will be the Carbon Z Cessna 150T for real this time. Sorry I had a little bait and switch on you. I don't leak stuff because I prefer not being sued. See you guys next week.